Earlier in the year, before the year changed in October of 2025, we introduced our teaching theme for our year 2025-2026, the gift of summits of hope, the idea of summits of hope. And we took 3 Sundays to explore an introduction to our theme, Summits of Hope. We talked about how hope has qualities, the quality of hope regarding time, that hope implicitly has something to do with waiting for the gifts to be unfolded, waiting for things to change. Hope and time go hand in hand. Hope has the quality of time and place, and also hope has the quality of people, that various people represent hope to us. They are hopeful, they inspire us, they show us what our future could be, they show us who we wish to become. Time, place, and people, these are 3 qualities of hope that we started our teaching theme with. We're building upon last year's theme, which you recall was a sense of faith. Yeah, ascending in faith. And just to review, at the beginning of this year, it's good to look back like the two-faced Janus and to remember where we've come from very briefly. Our theme, A Sense of Faith, was very rich, I felt, for me at least, I trust for you. Late last summer and fall, we began a series called Tools for Ascending, where we explored various spiritual tools for our journeys in faith, like reading or taking a retreat or weekly rests or reviews. This summer, we looked at the best ideas that have come that help us in our journeys of faith. We also looked at our sense of faith during Lent and the different aspects of Lent and how we are to hope and to work in our journey toward Lent. And so we build on this theme of ascending in faith to moving toward these summits of hope, these people, places, time that inspire us with hope. And today we go deeper into this notion of hope and see how hope is connected to desire. To desire. The human heart desires and longs for many different things. What do you long for? What is it that you desire for most? At New Year's, many of us make resolutions, and that's often pretty typical for our culture. And sometimes these New Year's resolutions can be fairly trite, fairly basic and simple, like I hope to, eat better or less cholesterol level or exercise more, these sorts of things. And they're wonderful things for all of us to aspire to. But about the first or second week of January, right about now, in fact, many of these resolutions we're discovering running into the wall that one desire one morning does not equal another desire the next day. What I desired yesterday, I certainly won't desire today. I'd like to eat the cupcake. That's what I'm desiring most today. So our desire to change, our desire to heal, our desire to open up into a new dimension of growth or life, our desire to experience love in deeper ways, our desire for a different job or more fruitfulness in our job, our desire for increasing success or a desire for a plan to retire, a desire to let go, a desire to clean out the house, a desire to be a better person, a desire to be more balanced and less reactive, a desire to be less lazy and more diligent. And on we could go. We could sweep the human range of emotions of what human beings desire for themselves. And desire really to change is a big driver for human behavior. A desire for our children to change is a big desire for human behavior. Reese, the 7-year-old grandchild, was a teacher to me when I was home last week in Austin. She came home from school and said, "Mommy, I remembered what you told me when I was digging in my ear. You said, don't pick your wax." And I pulled my wax out and I looked at it and I said, "Oh, Mommy said not to pick my ear," so I put the wax back in. Children teach us about our desires, and some desires are not to be acted upon. They get us into trouble. What is desire and how does it relate to hope? The first point for today's message is that the universe is born of desire. That's a big idea. The universe is born of desire. We're sitting in a universe that is born of desire, that births desire, that keeps unfolding from a desire, from something that desires it to be versus the it not to be. This, all of it, exists out of a desire from somewhere, from something, from someone. Otherwise it wouldn't exist. Desire is born in this universe. You can just simply say, we know this to be true because from emptiness comes fullness. From the emptiness of space comes fullness of all that is. That fullness comes from desire for something to be versus nothing to be. That there is anything at all speaks to somebody, something, somewhere having desire for there to be something and not nothing. Someone said the Big Bang wasn't really the Big Bang. A better term is the great radiance, the great expanding radiance. I love that. Not the Big Bang, but the great radiance. And we're a part of that great radiance at this very second. We're sitting in the great radiance of the universe. We don't realize it, but it's spreading out now at the speed of light. We're in the great radiance. We're a part of it. Desire is calling it into existence and calling it forward and pushing it outward. And we're a part of that. So we are a part of this desiring universe, this universe that is born of desire. This universe is like a desire factory. And therefore, because we're a part of the universe, we're desiring machines. We're also caught up in the gift of desiring, that we come from that desire and we therefore have our own desires. We're little mini universes, little solar systems of desire spinning around as human beings, creating, hungering, longing, desiring, hoping. Now you take away hope, you take away desire, and you're less than a human being. You basically die without desire. Why do I say that? Here's the logic. Stop breathing for 30 seconds. Go underwater for a minute. And you tell me, what is your body desiring? You'll know really quickly that you can't live without desire. You desire oxygen. Your body desires breath. You desire, and without it, you die. Food. Stop eating for a couple weeks and see how kind you are to your spouse or to your coworker. If human beings stopped eating, there'd be war. People turn into ugly people when we don't eat because the body desires food. Not as much food as we eat, but the body desires food. And it wants. The body is a desiring machine. Desire is built into our cells. It's built into our brains. We are desiring creatures. Did you know that the word desire comes from the Latin, which comes from and comes into us through French, desidérer in the French. Desidérer. And some of you might know French. It literally means from the stars. De sedus. The stars is the Sidereal galaxy, the stars. De sedus. From the stars. So desire has this root in the stars, as if the stars have something to tell us, as they did the Magi, that somehow, some way we long for something that's beyond us, that's above us, that calls us to itself to guide us and help us and to lead us and to be blessed, that we desire as if we're casting our hunger and thirst and desire on the stars for hope. We long, we wish, we desire for something more than just this world, for this life, that so many people need help from above, that they can't get what they desire on their own. They literally need miracles from above, and so they cast their last hope on the stars and say, I wish upon a star. I wish that I look up for hope to the stars, that somehow, some way I'll have a better life. Somehow, some way my children will have a better life. Somehow, some way I'll survive. I'll thrive. And for most of human history, birth rates were so low, survival rates were so low, and the expected life expectancy was so low in the mid-20s. Human beings, it was almost silly to hope because they looked around at life and were so pessimistic. No cure for germs. No simple cure for a cut that could turn infectious. Human beings have had such a difficult journey on this planet. It's now just getting good in the last couple hundred years. In the last 100 years, It's getting great. Desire creates the universe, and desire has created the world that we live in. Upon the stars we wish. And the same word is consider, considere. Same word also, to observe and to think about the stars. These two words come from the French. Desidere, cast yourself upon the stars, and considerere, consider the stars, like the Magi did. And the Magi followed that one particular star. You can see that star in the mornings. Probably about 2 a.m. is the best time right now, 3 a.m. You can see Sirius rising above these mountains. And then if you just look a little bit farther on the horizon, you'll see 3 stars, the 3 stars of Orion's belt, the wise men, looking at the eastern sky where the star rose. It's a beautiful symbol of our desire for a better life, for a liberator, for a king, for someone who will rule with justice and righteousness, who will fulfill the ancient prophecies, who will liberate the people from oppression. This is the human desire for a better life, for yourself, for your family, for your children, for your dogs, for all. May all beings be peaceful, the metta meditation goes. The universe is born of desire, and real quickly, because we're going to get to the communion, but that's only one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, this wonderful gift of desire, the other side of the coin is that desires are difficult to manage. And anyone who is a human being breathing and living, even just for a short period of time, 7-year-olds know this, that desires are hard and difficult to manage. Sometimes those desires manage us. And anyone who's been alive for any long period of time knows that many of our desires can careen us off the edge. They can literally careen us off into disaster if we give in to those desires. They can literally ruin our lives. And we're powerless sometimes to these desires. Desires are hard to manage. They're so powerful. And it's so humbling to have been defeated by a desire that wasn't in your best interest. Temporarily, maybe that desire was pleasurable, but it wasn't ultimately in your best interest. It promised you this and delivered you so little. All of us have been broken open by desires crashing into reality. Desires sometimes manage us. At the heart of desire are the emotions, the emotional center. It's like a rogue elephant, a wild elephant running through the woods. It just destroys everything it tramples upon. Anger, for example, lust, greed. These emotions can sometimes get out of control, and so they hook on to desire and they take over our lives, and they're hard to manage. So we literally need to learn how to control our desires, how to manage our desires in wise ways, to train the wild elephant to be able to easily navigate life without ruining things. Unfortunately, there's not a CEO of desire in our head. The ego isn't even the CEO of desire, because the ego can be co-opted by desires, oftentimes that lead to unexpected ends. There's not a CEO self we discover in life. It's more like a congress, a multiplicity, like a group of people in us. One wants this, another wants this, and our desires don't harmonize. They compete against one another. So one morning I desire this, and the next morning I can't believe I did that. Our desires are conflicted oftentimes, and we don't have a CEO self running things. We're like a committee, and you know how committees can be. Everyone wants different things. Yes, it's true. So learning how to use our hope and our desires is very, very important, to not let our negative emotions run us. And just one idea for us, this is the practice for the new year, for learning how to manage our desires and our hopes and our expectancies, of not projecting things onto other people without letting them know, oh, by the way, I had a desire that you would have done this, this, and this, and you didn't, so now I'm mad at you. To communicate beforehand what our desires are, what our expectations are. To let people know when we're disappointed, when we had a desire and it wasn't met. The first thing I suggest that we do is clear our resentments from the past, forgive and release them. And that will open up a pathway for our desires to unfold, clearing and declaring. Clearing our resentments from the past and declaring what our desires for the future are. It's a wonderful practice for us to do if you feel lost or spinning and stuck in spin cycle, not getting anywhere, like your desires aren't manifesting, or your desires are getting sidetracked, or you don't have clarity on what you really want for your life or this year, much less this week. Clear the past, all the griefs, all the shames, all the fears, all the things where we say, woulda, coulda, shoulda, oh, if only. Clear all that nonsense. It's wasted energy. And then declare what you wish for. Declare what you long for. Declare what you hope for. Write it down. Be specific, tangible, actionable, accountable. Then look at it weekly, daily, and affirm it. Speak it out to the stars. I am healthy. I am happy. I am blessed with friends and community and the joy of these mountains. And the ski mountain is open. And we are happy again. Declare these things upon the stars to something bigger than yourself, because the universe is born of desire, and the universe reflects what it desires back to us. So clearing and declaring are two wonderful practices. Then writing those things down and reflecting upon them regularly. This is some of the practice that I do in my life. It always hasn't worked, but oftentimes it has worked. And I've run out of time, but I wanted to share 2 stories. So come back next week and you'll get 3. You've heard what I've had to say. Take a moment in the silence and let the Spirit conclude the message for you. Amen. May our desires be blessed and bless others. Let's stand and give our hearts to song, singing our doxology. Praise God, from whom all blessings